reactions and everything. However, one guy got drafted, right? Or the Mr. Irrelevant. And he found out this team could actually win games with him. And then they started getting irrelevant. And that was me just taking a shot. That was me just taking I gotta take my shots when I can. I'm just saying.
I
mean, we were beating you before we drafted him, so
you right. You right. Then we took Prime and found a way to win
in the NFC West. So go ahead.
They became irrelevant in the NFC West. You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying. And we became irrelevant in the NFC East. But here we go, Dave. We talking about the 49ers. We talking about Purdy, right? They became the Giants.
The Mr. Irrelevant last pick. John last place. 49ers last place in the NFC West.
I wasn't trying to go that far. I wasn't trying to go that far, but you said it. I agree with it. Now we gotta talk about where does Purdy rank based off last season. David Van us know.
Hey, you gotta get all the punches you could right now until they get good again. Go ahead.
Again.
Dang!
What you mean again?
You mean
sounded like they bad or something? They not bad.
They were last in the NFC West.
But they not bad though.
Let him say what he wants to say. He know why we were 6-11 last year.
They're not the
What's
Titans.
the bad? Tell me.
They're not the Titans. That's
when
bad.
Titans last?
Titans got the first pick. They bad.
That's bad. What's the finals pick?
They 11.
Okay.
Yeah, he said give.
Ironic. Okay, go ahead.
Where does Brock Purdy rank based on amongst quarterbacks ranks? Look, Alan got me all discombobulated. Where does Purdy rank amongst quarterbacks based upon last season?
All right. So
15.
Where do I have Brock Purdy ranked based off last season?
Let me full screen. Hold up. No, I gotta see our No, I'm gonna see our reactions first. No, I'm gonna full screen. Go ahead.
So, based off last season, I mean, Brock Purdy played 15 games. He missed 2 because of injury. He had some okay stats last season, of course. You know, and if you look at the team, we had a lot of injuries last year. Bosa missed games. Dre Greenlaw didn't play until December. Tyler Hufanga was out.
Yeah, wow.
Trent Williams missed the last half of the season. Christian McCaffrey missed the first 8 games, and then he missed the last 5 games. So we had to deal with that. So that's a total of 13 games that Christian McCaffrey had missed with.
He was on a Madden cover, right?
Some Achilles injuries. Yes, he was. Saquon is next. We had Brandon Ayuk, who started off the season horribly, but then he ended the season on injured reserve. He missed the entire season. Debo missed games. We had a lot of injuries on this team last season. And I know that there's a clip out there that says Brock Purdy is now a top 10 quarterback. And based off last season, I would agree for sure. I don't believe he's top 10. I would have Purdy like in between 11 and 15 right now. I have him like 13th overall based on last season because of all the injuries. And when we did have some of the guys that were healthy, he did play similar to what he did the season before when we went to the Super Bowl. But overall, there were still some games where he did not play particularly well. And yes, we didn't have those weapons, but you still have to judge him based off of his play. And some of those games where we had opportunities to convert on 3rd or 4th down, he did not convert. He had double-digit interceptions last year, double-digit turnovers altogether because he had a total of 12 interceptions and 7 fumbles. So that was 19 turnovers overall last season. So and that's 20 touchdowns, 20 pass touchdowns, 5 rushes. So 25 and 19. Those are average numbers when it comes to just his stats wise. He didn't throw for 4,000 yards, but he threw for 3,800 yards. Completion percentage was cool. He had 66% completion percentage, which is not too bad, but it's not great either. So I would have him 13th overall, honestly. But like I said, it was an injury riddle season, so it wasn't much he could really do with what he had last season. And there's a lot of people that say that Brock Purdy wouldn't be this if he didn't have any weapons. Look, if you look at any quarterback, if they don't have the weapons other than Lamar Jackson and Patrick and even Patrick Mahomes, when Patrick Mahomes didn't have his weapons, and he didn't look like Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson looks like himself, no matter if he has weapons or not, because he's yet to have a top tier wide receiver. So, other than Lamar Jackson, if you talk about Jalen Hurts didn't look like this when he didn't have these weapons. You look at Joe Burrow, when Joe Burrow did not have T. Higgins out there, it wasn't much he could do. He didn't win any games without T. Higgins out there. If you look at Patrick Mahomes, like I said, when he did not have a top tier weapon out there other than Travis Kelce, he did not look like Patrick Mahomes. So let's stop that when it comes to Brock Purdy, that he don't have his weapons, he ain't good. If no quarterback in history really has their weapons, they don't really look that good. Other than Lamar Jackson, like I said, they don't look that good. You can name any other quarterback, and Joe, I know you looking because you're looking at Jaden McDaniels. He still got Terry McLaurin. So just
Jaden Daniels. Same Timberwolves.
What I'm saying is he has
Like I kept
Terry McLaurin. But
I thought he was looking at Jalen Hurts.
But I'm just saying that there's a lot of quarterbacks that have weapons and they look really good with those weapons. Without those weapons, they don't really look that good. So that's all I'm saying. So, but I don't have him top 10 either. I have him like 13th overall, honestly, but I don't have him top 10.
That's funny. You got him at 13, and Joe was talking about the Giants trading back to get a quarterback. just a callback. But I agree with you. I say top 15 going off of last year. Who you got in front of him to have him at 13?
Good question. That's my next question.
Your mic, Joe.
Based off last year, I have Matthew Stafford ahead of him, of course. I think Jordan Love did play a little bit better than he did. He didn't have as many turnovers as he did. Jordan Love had a total of 15 turnovers, and if he had injuries to deal with on his team as well. Geno Smith, I have Geno Smith ahead of him after the based off last season because Geno Smith had a better completion percentage. He had better He had more passing yards, and his team almost made the playoffs last year, of course. So I'm giving him that as well. And they dealt with injuries too. I think they had injuries at the running back position with Kenneth Walker. I just don't have him right there. I have Mahomes ahead of him, of course. Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, based off last season. Based off last season, I have Sam Darnold ahead of him, of course. Jared Goff, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. I have all those quarterbacks ahead of him. I even put CJ Stroud ahead of him based off last season as well. Because he was, even with his injuries, because he had Stephon Diggs out for the entire year. He had a time where Tank Dell wasn't out there. So I could just based off last season, because of what those teams were able to do to get their teams there. We're dealing with injuries as well. Not as much as him, but I could still have him. I got those quarterbacks above him.
Do you have Bo Nix ahead of him?
Based off last season, yeah, I got him ahead of him too.
You got Russ over him?
No.
And he just commented. That's
Kyler
crazy.
Murray?
No.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Herbert. Okay, hold on. You got.
Well, no. I have Kyler Murray ahead of him, but not Herbert.
Why not Herbert? You got Geno. Herbert made it to the playoffs and he got like 4 assists the whole year.
He got like 5 in one game though.
In where? Where was that game at?
Don't talk about me and quarterbacks throwing picks in the playoffs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You named 14 quarterbacks above Brock Purdy. So he was 15 last year.
Yeah,
He
I
said
said
13.
I said 13 to 15. I have him in that range, 11 to 15. So
Man, you got Gino in there. You got to put Herbert above him. Gino led the league in interceptions. Tied, I think, with Baker Mayfield.
Let's see.
And they missed the playoffs. And he had 3 elite receivers. Not 3 elite, but you know what I'm saying?
Nah, Kirk Cousins tied with Baker Mayfield in the
Oh, yeah, 18.
16.
Gino had 15.
Gino at 15.
yeah, Gino at 15.
Herbert had what? 4? Something like that?
3.
3. And he made the playoffs.
Yeah, he had 3 interceptions all season. 9 turnovers overall.
Hold on. Herbert had 3 interceptions last year?
Yes. And he had 4 in the playoffs.
Who was his offensive coordinator?
Did he really just say Carson Wentz? Come on now.
He playing. I'm just
Go. Were you about to go, Tomo?
I just wanted to ask him that because for me, I had him in that 11 to 15 range, but I had him at 11, like just knocking on the door. I don't see 14.
11. I mean, I could easily move him up, but I'm just basing off of how I saw him play and how I saw those other quarterbacks play, and bigger games, of course, and then games where we should have won and stuff like that. I just, I expected more out of him last year than what he did, even though we had injuries.
So it's based upon your expectations. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, it's based off my expectations.
That's why earlier in the segment when I forgot we talking about, we said 11. I said how ironic because I got him 11 too. Like Dave. Come on, man, you dripping. Geno Smith above Brock Purdy. What had Geno Smith done last year? Tell me. Got a better record? Do more passing yards? You know why? Go look at the completion attempts. Go look at the passing attempts. I ain't even look at it. I bet you Geno is like way ahead of Brock Purdy. Don't forget, Brock Purdy missed 2 games, like you said.
Yeah, he did.
So he should have more passing yards and stuff than him.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. Jalen Hurts. Come on now. Is it a question? JD5 will always be above Brock Purdy. I'm sorry, Dave. JD5.
Always?
Brock Purdy? I said Brock Purdy. All right.
Always?
Oh, my gosh.
Joe Burrow, for sure. Jared Goff. Baker Mayfield. The guy you backed up, Brock Purdy. Sam Darnold. Lamar Jackson. It's not in order, obviously. Lamar Jackson.
I'm glad you said that.
Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert. I am putting Kyler Murray above him. Not Geno. Kyler Murray, I think he played better than him last year. Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy hurt me last year. That hurt me. Probably hurt you more than me, but his 4-quarter performances weren't good last year. He threw a lot of games in the
and that was a part of the reason why I dropped him, is because I saw those 4th quarters, and those 4th quarters were bad, man. It was bad.
The MVP, Josh Allen. I'm looking at Tomo while I'm saying this.
Shout out to Josh Allen. He made good decisions off the field.
Carl, based off last season, I'm not putting Purdy over Darnold. He said based off last season.
Yes, based on last season. It's based on last season. But here's why I disagree with you at Jordan Love. Why Jordan Love over him?
I look at Jordan Love because he had he was injured as well and dealt with injuries on his team, and he was still able to do he still was able to do better than what Purdy did last season.
Do what better?
Just off his play.
Dave, they won like 3 or 4 games without Jordan Love, and they squeezed into the playoffs. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The backup came in and won 3 games, and Jordan Love, we passed them. You know that, right? They would have played the Bucs, and we would have played the Eagles first round, but no. They lost to the Bears.
They played the same amount of games.
Who?
Purdy and Jordan Love. They both only missed 2 games.
No, I got you on that, but your guy got injuries galore. Yeah. Jordan Love didn't play good last year. How many interceptions he had?
11.
And how many Purdy had? 11, probably.
Nah, he had
12.
He had 12.
Yeah, he had 12.
He had 12. He had 12 with 7 fumbles. He had 19 turnovers last season.
I don't think Jordan Love played good at last year. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't putting Jordan Love. And he had Jacobs. Javon Wright, he had Jacobs. I'm not putting Jordan Love. And the defense was good last year. I'm not putting Jordan Love over him. And look, I get it. Matthew Stafford. He dealt with injuries too. But you gotta realize y'all defense wasn't good last year. Y'all had injuries galore. Your defense. Defense wasn't good. Y'all used to be in the number 1, number 2, number 3 defense. Last year, what were y'all ranked? I don't even remember. Y'all was not good. The only way I'll put Stafford above him based on last year because of the playoff running. You know, he went to the playoffs, all that stuff. But outside of that, regular season, I think Purdy had a better year for real. So that's why I can't dig it.
Okay, stop.
Bro, this is my issue though. Everyone keeps saying this. Everyone says everyone says that. Not clearly. I knew somebody was gonna say this. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you name the guys that need weapons.
Every quarterback in history needs weapons for real. Peyton Manning, did he win a Super Bowl without a good receiver or tight end in his life? No.
I mean, Jalen Hurts made it to the playoffs without any weapons for real. Yeah,
but did he win a playoff game without him though?
Got to the playoffs.
No.
Who?
Did he win a playoff game without him? No.
Yeah, one weapon.
Oh, that
did he have the same amount of injuries that Purdy had last year? No.
I mean, what the injuries what Purdy had is the same Jalen Hurts had. They were projected to win 4 games, just like us. I mean, we made the playoffs, one weapon.
Okay, Joe.
Joe, stop, Joe. Someone made the playoffs one weapon. Yeah, like 5 at least, a solid 5. Y'all was a good spades hand. Y'all was a good spades hand.
No, I'm serious. Purdy had an opportunity to show people I ain't a product of the system. He would he fumbled a lot of them games, bro.
He did, but the defense also fumbled a lot of those games too.
That's what I mean.
Because especially those 2 games, those 3 games in the beginning of the season against the Cardinals, I think it was the Seahawks, and all 3 division games where we had leads in the fourth quarter and we blew it because the defense just gave up plays. So, and then Purdy didn't help because he was throwing interceptions or fumbling the ball or throwing it behind players, and I was just like, "Come on, man! Like it's crazy. It's crazy."
And that's not being a product of the system, because if he was a product of the system, the passes would have been on point. Because the system allows for you to put the passes where they need to be.
Absolutely.
So the fact that he didn't put the passes on point, he not the product.
He messed the system up. That's not being a product. I'm just saying.
And then he had, and then I mean, Jawan Jennings had a career year last year.
The Javon, the comment they playing, he's like, yeah, it's my time to shine. Or they have time to talk.
I know where Javon going with. I think I know where he going with this one.
I do too.
I think he's going back to that guy who called them plays.
We see Jimmy G. He right though. We see Jimmy G go to Super Bowl with he right.
Yes, we did, but we also saw Jimmy G go to Super Bowl only throwing 8 passes in the playoff game. Like, come on.
I'm not gonna lie. One thing Brock Purdy has done that any other quarterback outside of RG3, you know what I mean? RG3 was like that, but he ain't doing the playoffs. That he had in the playoffs, that as a head coach, Jimmy G was clutch down the stretch against the Green Bay Packers, I think, and against the Detroit Lions. No, the Detroit Lions, that game I'm talking about, really.
Kev, stop.
You mean Brock Purdy? You said Jimmy G.
Yes, I'm not putting Bryce Young over Purdy last year.
Yeah, Kev, stop.
Kev said they might.
Why would I put what?
Because he said you're a hard critic. That's why. According to his standards here. I mean, you got Geno above him.
No.
How much? Geno played in the worst game last year. Them and the Bears. That was the worst game I've seen all year.
He did.
There's no way I'm putting Geno above him.
Yeah, nah. He knocking on the door. I got him at 11.
Yeah, I'm with Tomo. He got 11, bro. 13, okay. 15 basically. You told
11, 13, 15. All I'm saying, all we can all agree that he's not top 10 based off last year.
He wasn't top 10 last year.
That's why I said based off last year, he's not top 10. That was my biggest
thing. Crazy. Carl do not like that Geno.
I feel him though. And Jordan Love was hurt, and
I could be very well wrong with Geno. It's just how I feel about Purdy and what I saw him play in certain how I saw him play in certain games and games that I know we could have won. Even when the defense had played well, and I'm like, Purdy, if you just make this play, it can happen. So,
hey Vaughn, answer this question for me later. You can answer it now in the comments. We'll talk about it out here. What makes you got to be in the game to be a gamer. You got to have like his weapons around him for him to be a gamer. I don't understand the game management part. I'm confused by that.
It don't matter to me whether he's a game manager or a gamer.
That's what
I
he's
don't care.
saying.
I don't care, honestly.
Think
Is he
about it
saying?
though. Think
Is he
about
saying
it.
like how when? Okay, Joe, this is your moment. Like when plays broke down, JD was like, "All right, I'm gonna go get the yards." That's what separates him from being a gamer and a game manager. Because technically, him going to get the yards and not throwing an interception is kind of being a game manager.
I mean, he's made plays without his guys. I mean, we see him make plays with Jawan Jennings. Jawan Jennings is not
Okay.
considered a top wide receiver, so he's made plays without his guys.
They lost that game though, day when he went crazy.
I'm not Joe. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I'm saying
Okay.
make plays. He can make plays without his guys, but it's different from winning multiple games without his guys. That's not this. That's different.
I can see it from the other side because y'all had the best roster offensively. As far as like star power, not all together, like depth, because y'all don't have depth. Obviously, we saw that last year
No,
when y'all got hurt.
don't
But
have
when
that.
everybody's healthy, y'all there. And y'all got the best play caller probably in the NFL right now. Him and Sean McVay are neck and neck. But probably Kyle Shanahan's probably the best.
And to read up there too, of course.
Andy Reid, yeah, I get you, Andy Reid, but you got Mahomes. But look, so Kyle Shanahan, you have him and with the full roster, and you get to the NFC Championship game, you get hurt, and you get a Super Bowl. And then last year, when everybody got hurt, y'all went on a losing streak. Remember that. So now, don't get me wrong, he led up a game-winning drive. Him and Brandon Ayuk and your Moody guy missed a game-winning kick against the Cleveland Browns. That's another story. And then last year, you finally get hurt. Not finally, but you get hurt last year, and not only miss a playoff, you're last in your division. So there's people saying, I can see why people would say, bro, like, without his weapons, he ain't nothing. I get why people would say that. Because in the fourth quarter, like I said, the fourth quarter, he kept letting me know. I'm like, dang, bro, he kept throwing interceptions in the fourth quarter. You know, so
See,
but
the difference about I gotta say something about this last comment. The thing about Purdy and Hurts had now Hurts. We were judging Hurts off of his 2022 season. We were saying, is this real? We said that same thing about Purdy after 2023. We was like, all right, is this real? Like, is this really who he is? And he proved it the next season because he was leading the MVP race. The only reason why he lost is because he had a bad game against the Ravens. And that gave Lamar Jackson the MVP pretty much because he beat Purdy, even though he didn't have the numbers to back it up. So before we say that, all I'm saying is Purdy had two, like basically a year and a half where you seen that he actually is a really good quarterback. Not great, not great, not a superstar, not a franchise changing player. I've never said that about Purdy, but he is a really good quarterback.
He got a lot to prove next year.
Of course he does. He got a lot to prove to me too. I mean, we have the easiest schedule. Got the easiest schedule next year. Everyone's coming back healthy. We lost some really good players. I mean, Charvarius Ward is gone. Dre Greenlaw's gone. Talanoa Funga's gone. Offensive line is probably the one thing I don't care about because all the offensive guys that we lost weren't that good when they were with us. So I don't really care too much about that. And then Debo's gone. So is Ricky Pearsall going to be number 2, or are we going to draft another receiver or something? I don't know. So it's a lot that could play into it, but CMC is healthy, Fred Warner's healthy, George Kittle's healthy, Trent Williams healthy. So we'll see.
That's good.
All right. Well, this is how I know we took some days off.
I know.
So let's get right to it. We're gonna roll right into it.
Thank you for being honest. Thank you.
There was no fluke. He's a legit system. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you talking about last year, right? Because and the Lions game and the Green Bay game.
Lions game, Green Bay game. Because the Lions games, he used his legs to make sure that we were able to win that game.
It was a stat.
Exactly.
It was a stat that Kyle Shanahan haven't won a game when like losing by a certain amount of points, and Purdy was the only quarterback ever done that. I forgot.
Only one. So come on.